My name is Stephen Lewis Simpson. I'm the director of Neither Wolf Nor Dog. Let's take a first look.
Is this Nerburn? My grandpa wants to talk to you. It's important. He's old.
Dan? That's Nerburn, the guy you phoned?
White people who work on a res. I don't like them much. Mostly full of bullshit.
Oh, hi there. I seem to have a bit of a problem here.
Ooh. Read. Read one.
When white people won, it was a victory. When we won, it was a massacre. When they fought for freedom, it was a revolution. And when we fought for freedom, it was an uprising. Did you write these, Dan?
I got lots more. I want you to fix them. Make a book.
We were placed here to learn the teachings of the land. And the land says to forgive, like the fresh summer grasses forgive the harsh snows of winter. I believe we must now share what the Creator has given us. I have not been raised up to speak for my people, but I'm old and my time is short. So I have chosen to speak. They're his words, Grover.
No, they're not. They're your words. Tom bullshit. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, I mean, for me, filmmaking is one role. You do everything, and even if you're having other people do it, your hands should be all over it. And in this case, you know, I had a crew of 2 through the production, but it was just myself in pre-production all the way through post to entering into cinemas. But, you know, when you're telling a story that has a 95-year-old lead and that guy puts a spirit on screen, it's sort of a sacred trust that he left me. And so it's been important for me, for his legacy, to make sure that I do everything that I can to get this film out into the world. It was interesting when I came on board because the author approached me with the novel, and he'd had Hollywood producers for many, many years, some rather established ones, approach him about making this into a movie. And they were just making a lot of grand promises and always failing to deliver. So when I came on board, there was already a screenplay in place that had been developed, but the first thing I did was went through it and I gutted a lot of scenes that were very much the kind of Hollywood story by numbers kind of scenes and pared it back. And from that point, the author was thrilled because he could tell that my radar was very accurate in terms of authenticity, because everything I'd pulled were things he wasn't comfortable with. One of the things that's interesting is understanding that screenwriters have a very different approach than authors. We have a sort of discipline over the rewrite and rewrite that I think a lot of authors struggle with. And so there was a certain point where it was clear that I just had to take it on and keep working it to keep honing it down. I think in this film there's truly only one person alive that could ever do the role of Dan justice. And you know, it's interesting, Dave Bald-Eagle was, you know, more than I'd ever dreamt of for the role, and actually more than the author had ever dreamt of. And, you know, what a rare situation to have somebody who'd lived with a role for many, many years and then see it realized on screen and it to eclipse their wildest dreams. But that's who he was, and it took a long time for me to search around trying to find the right person. I looked a lot in Canada as well as the US. But it needed to be someone in their mid-90s, even though the character was 80 in the novel, because it needed to be someone from that era. And because of the time that elapsed from the novel coming out to when we shot, I had to go a lot older. And, you know, it was a struggle to, you know, pull the finance together, but it was a race against the clock, because if anything happened to Dave, there was just no point in making it, and I was going to walk away from it all. Well, before, as I was saying, before Dave passed, I mean, we did show him a cut of the film. It was in I think the biggest screen in South Dakota. We had a lot of his family there and the invited audience. And so, you know, he was just in his element. But none of us could have expected the response the film has had. And I truly believe if he was still here, you know, he lived in this ranch house kind of thing in a remote part of Cheyenne River Indian Reservation. And I think if he was still around, it would have been like the final scene of Field of Dreams. I think there would be this line of cars driving up his 1.5 mile long driveway to visit with him. The door would be wide open. There'd be a pot of coffee always on, and everyone would be welcome. And he would be in his element.
No Indian alive dares to think too much for the past. The bones of my people are crying.
I try to dance out of your way, you come at me. Doesn't matter what I do, you got a knife drawn. Now you said you were gonna help me. If this is what you call help, spare me, I don't need it.
You don't even show him any respect.
Wait just 1 second. I drive 1,000 miles on my own time and dime, just so that I can help an old man write something to give him some peace at the end of his life, and you tell me I don't show him any respect?
I told him not to trust a white man.
A lot of ways to see, Nerburn.
Don't hurt him. Grandpa's fighting for the old ways. The only way he knows how.
I just don't understand why me, Dan. Why you would want me to write a book. I don't feel worthy. I feel responsible.
The world is not an accident. We don't always choose our parts. I called you, and you came. If you are too small or too weak, it is too late.